One of the things I find most interesting, or at least slightly entertaining, about MMORPG culture is the perfect MMO is just out of reach. And one of the things I've seen people state multiple times is that Riot's MMO is going to be the MMO to end all MMOs. And that is something that we see time and time again. You could say the same thing about Ashes of Creation, or at least some people say that about Ashes of Creation. The problem ends up being is that as we learn more about what that MMO entails, it kind of breaks the mystery. It breaks the level of expectation that is built in our minds about what the perfect MMO can be. But outside of that little monologue at the intro, today I want to talk to you guys about an update from Riot Games about their upcoming MMORPG. This is over on Twitter. I'll include a link in the description if you guys just want to go read this thread for yourself. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through it. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts along the way. And I do appreciate you coming in and checking out this video because there hasn't been really anything to talk about this game. And I think there's going to be some things that are concerning and maybe some hopeful things. And as a developer, hopefully I can give you guys some context about what all this means and when we can expect more news. So and I'm going to butcher the name, not on purpose because I'm dyslexic. We're going to say Mark. We're just going to call him name Mark because that is what his hashtag or his @ symbol is. Now, he says, "Hey all, we know many of you are hungry for news about the Riot Games MMO project, and we really appreciate your patience and incredible support you've shown us so far. I'm writing to update you today on where we're at. And before anyone panics, yes, we are still working on the game." So that's an important fact that is really good to know. But also as it relates to Ghost Crawler and any kind of exit, I think we're about to find out why here. Now, some of this stuff shows more, so we'll see if we can navigate through this. Bear with me, guys. Twitter is its own thing. Anyway, so let's go ahead and click on it and just expand it. It says, "After a lot of reflection and discussion, we decided to reset the direction of the project some time ago." That's an important aspect. You should bookmark that mentally for later. This decision wasn't easy, never really is, but it was necessary. The initial version or vision just wasn't different enough from what you can play today. Very critical. One of the things, and it's kind of this weird spot with MMOs, I'll talk directly to you as opposed to this view. One of the things that's interesting about MMORPGs is the wanting something new and different and at the same time feeling at home and comfortable. And we see this happen a lot with MMOs entering into the market, that you have to appease, in a way, a language, right? World of Warcraft, whether you like it or you love it, it established this language that everybody somewhat expects for these kind of games to have. And the question ends up being is that if you're going to just launch as that, as a WoW clone, why invest in your game over something else? So you have to do a lot of things different. You got to do things better, but you run the risk of making it too different, too, hard to get into. So that is my thoughts on that. Anyway, we don't believe that you want an MMO that you've played before with Runeterra coat of paint. To truly do it justice and the potential of Runeterra, we meet an incredibly high expectations of players around the world, and we need to do something that truly feels like a significant evolution of the genre. This is a huge challenge, but one that our team is deeply passionate about. MMO players and game development veterans is incredibly motivated to pursue. Moving into the next one. With this new direction, I'm excited to introduce Fabu Rusu as the new executive producer of the MMO. Fabrice experience as a player and a passion for creating immersive worlds is extraordinary. Having led big projects at Riot, BioWare, and EA, he brings a fresh perspective and a shared commitment to excellence that will guide our team as they continue on this difficulty. We started the groundwork for this pivot some time ago, and over the last year, under Vijay Thankur's management, we built key components at the technical foundation to create the kind of ambitious games that we're talking about. We're grateful for Vijay's leadership and that he will be a part of the game's leadership team going forward as our technical director. Vijay sounds like a dirty word. I'll let you guys figure out what one. All right, moving on. Resetting our development path also means that we are going to be going dark. This is to be expected. Going dark in this case, I think, is an important step for them. But I would also kind of push back and say, I think they've already been dark. We haven't been hearing updates, which honestly, I think is the right call. Any kind of communication sets expectations. It becomes a promise, even if it's theoretical. You can look at many games that allow people to see into the development process, and you start to think that some idea that they've added ends up being the idea that's going to be in the game, and it turns out it just wasn't fun. So them going dark is the right call. I don't want a transparent environment. Honestly, I think one of the problems and frustrations with MMORPGs, and this is to blame me as a content creator, is that we figure them out. There is no mystery to an MMO whenever it launches, because we know absolutely everything there is to know about the game, because that's something that people are hungry for, and information drives, you know, that demand and drives views. And so there's no mystery behind any of that. Anyway, for a long time, likely several years. So based off of that, when he says likely several years, this is terms of going dark. We're already looking at 2024. Several years easily starts at 2 years, but that doesn't mean the game's gonna be launching in 2026. With them going in and kind of structuring and redoing these things, MMO development is a nightmare for HR because you have a human resources problem. We've already seen it with this project. It doesn't mean the project is going to be bad. It just means it's an extra level of challenge when it comes to game development. And that just is something that takes time in the long run. So I would start to set expectations for this game. I would put it out at 5 years at a minimum before we are able to go hands-on with it. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for it to be sooner. I'm not rooting for it to push that 2029, 2030 year time frame, but if they get it right, that's going to be a perfect time. You'll be talking about next generation consoles at that point. You're going to be talking about more power. You have a kind of a new threshold for what the game will be capable of, and a lot of new emerging technology. So waiting for the right, like, MMOs really came on the scene, and we're all kind of waiting for that next evolution. And I think it is a technological revolution. And so a new MMO launching later this decade or into the start of the next decade could be really exciting for a lot of gamers out there. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Anyway, the silence will help us provide space for the team to focus in on the incredible amount of work ahead of them. We understand the excitement and anticipation that surrounds new information, but we ask that you that for your trust during this silent phase. Remember, no news is good news. And it means that we're hard at work, pouring our hearts and souls into making something that we hope you love. Now, I do question and wonder, because we've seen updates about some of these things before in regards to, hey, you know, like we're putting out kind of this news and it's been very quiet. You know, I guess I'm trying to say, like, we've seen them kind of like talk about this a little bit, and this just seems very natural. I guess I don't really know what I'm trying to say there. I said it very poorly. I do apologize. If my brain unscrambles my own thoughts, we'll come back to this. Anyway, we talked about no news is good news. Thank you so much for believing in us and your patience. We're incredibly committed to the mission. We look forward to the adventure ahead and stories that we're going to share together. I think this is really cool stuff. Let's get here. I think there was also a tweet. Let's go back to the top and start here, because I like that Ash as a creation popped in here. And Steven kind of gives an update. He says, "Greetings, brother. Greatness takes time, and the story of Runeterra deserves a careful hand in development. We support your decision and know that Riot's continued investment in the MMO is a testament to the future of the genre. Wishing you and the team the best, Steven. Hashtag let them cook." So yeah, good news. Like, in all this, there's lots to play. There's a lot of really great games that are going on right now. And if you're really excited about World of Runeterra, I guess for lack of a better name, the Riot's MMORPG, well, I think it's just going to be better for it, assuming that they have the passion and obviously the support behind it. Now I remember what the hell I was trying to say, is that they talked about how it's achieved, its different milestones in the past, where those milestones were like, yep, we're going to keep funding it, we're going to keep developing it. So this in and of itself, them actually issuing this statement of fact and update to the community in and of itself, I think is also a testament that Riot is invested in this project and they want to see it to fruition. However, one thing that we should always be very well aware of is that money isn't as cheap as it used to be, and a lot of these projects rely on financing to see them come into play. So as long as they've got the money secured and those funds, then I'm actually not concerned. But obviously, again, these things take time, and we are not going to hear from them for several years, which at a minimum puts the game into the later half, easily the later half of the 2020s in this regards. Anyways, I hope you weigh in and let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling in the comments. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this game. And if you guys are new around here, my name is Brian. This is Ginger Prime Loves MMOs. And I really appreciate you giving me some of your time today. Hopefully you felt it was respected and you got something good out of it. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. But until then,